good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Infinite balancing effect. How powerful is the mind? Dolores Cannon, if you haven't heard of her, look her up. Joe Dispenza, if you haven't heard of him, look him up. Not saying they're the end all and be all, but you may have interest in what them people have to say. Now let me tell you something about myself. I've been on, I guess what they call now, a plant-based diet for a long time. Going back to like the 90s, 1990s. And even during them times, I've been suffering from a migraine headache. Then later on, I went more into what they call raw foods. And even then, the headaches, them keep proceeding. They keep aching. Nothing never change. Now, when I went through what I call my personal epiphany last year around January, that's when I started meditation. And the reason I started meditation because one time I was just on the net. Then a video of Joe Dispenza came up about how the mind can heal. So, I'm naturally an optimistic person. Always trying to see the best out of the worst situation. So reading that, and some other things that was going on, I decided, let me try this, see what happens. So from last year, about January, I started meditating. And not only meditating, like I did a meditation from his book called Supernatural. If you haven't read it, I highly encourage you to read the book. Or get to the online, however access you get. And there's a meditation there called Blessing of the Centers. Another one, Heart Coherence. And another one, Breath. I tried all of them, but I stayed consistent with the Blessing of the Centers. And all the energy centers in the body, some people will call them the chakras. And I just followed it from January, just kept on following it. And headaches I've been having, they continued. Through February, they continued. Through March, they continued. Through April, they continued. They continued through all them months, continued through May. And now, there's a saying that I think it was from Albert Einstein, where you can't solve the problems you have with the same consciousness that you always had. something along them lines. Basically saying you can't solve things with having the same premise of what you had from the beginning. So, reason why I mentioned that, so going back to when I started in January, I changed my whole motif and believed. Even though it wasn't working at first, believed. Even though it wasn't working the second month, believed. Even though it wasn't working in the third month, believed. Even though it wasn't working, we kept believing and believing. And then an interesting thing happened in June. I was still getting headaches, but it was a lot less. Not as painful. Kept on doing it, and from June, July, it went smaller. By the time like August came around, I didn't have them no more. And I really, like, is this a coincidence? So it's funny, I even did things like trying to bring it up again, believe it or not. But nothing happened. And from that day forward, from like August of I can say for sure, August of 2023, I never had a headache since from now. Where was this? Right now in March. Now, how powerful is the mind? I think being optimistic about all this and this coming up, I truly think it's a powerful thing. On the positive side, and unfortunately, on the opposite side. I've been doing research and seeing people being healed by just believing with the meditation practice and basically just believing, just changing their whole outlook on life and just becoming a different person. From the information I did, seeing people that are still trying to be the same person but trying to heal themselves, it'll work. A lot of people have anger inside themselves, trying to heal themselves, it'll work. It's just you have to have a whole new mindset. And that's why I think how powerful is the mind is a very powerful thing. It could go either way, just like if you go to the doctors and they're telling you something is, let's say, not too bright. And to make the person that's listening to it just feel down and sad. Then from then, in the mind, it just goes in there thinking that, okay, this is not going to be well. Try to be as PC yet positive as I can. So I don't want to go to no detail. But there's a saying that if the mind is powerful enough to cause disease, the mind is powerful enough to heal to disease with the right method, the right thinking. So me, myself, when this came to me about the whole healing aspect, the whole thing that happened to me, even back then, that's when I decided to be more into nature, more into just being one with the ground, one with the earth. Now, naturally, I always love water going down by the lake or ocean or whatever the case is. Me, I still have a little bit of love for, it's like seeing other people having fun. That's why I love my festivals. But now when it comes to nature, I just become more of a nature person, of that epiphany I'm having. And for anyone that's listening, watching this now, you can make that. For me, this was a baby step. I'm still learning myself. But I do know that what happened to me can happen to anybody else that can, that truly believe that what they're doing is right, and what they're doing will be successful, and what they're doing will heal. So right now in this cool city of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, from the east, west, north, south, stay blessed, and more blessed.